G'day, g'day. Hello and welcome back to the CFWF podcast. This is your host, Alex Rathke. Today, episode 27 is about technology in fitness. Now, technology in fitness comes in a heap of different things, and some you might not even think of. So I've got a list written down. So first one, technology is heart rate monitors. That comes in the way of like Fitbits, Garmin's, Apple Watches even do that now. There's a million different brands out there that do heart rates. But I mean, heart rate things, you can use them in your fitness one way by training in heart rate zones. And that's a popular thing. The system we use in the gym here, Wodify, they have a heart rate tracking program on there. It's called Wodify Pulse, and you're trying to maintain a certain heart rate for certain things and whatnot, which can be a very helpful tool. When I was cycling a lot, I used to use heart rate for my training. So, heart rate monitors, heart rate watches. I mean, now they do. They have a radial pulse thing, and they read your heart rate out of here. And back when I was doing it, they had the chest strap, which apparently is a little more accurate. Sorry, that was my lunch. To remind me to have lunch because I won't eat otherwise. So I used to have the chest monitor, and apparently that's a little more accurate. But I mean, I remember it even used to drop out heaps. But yeah, using that heart rate monitors, and that can help give you intensity. I personally believe that heart rate monitors can show you if you're at intensity, but if you're someone that's trained regularly and at intensity, and you know how to coach, and that the coach has helped you do that sort of stuff, you're going to know intensity, and you'll know when your heart rate's high and when you cannot go anymore. It's just a tool to show you that, you know, it is at the level you want it to be. But you should learn intensity without a heart rate monitor to tell you that you're doing the right thing. You should learn what your body's capable, or push your body to where you think it's capable of without the use of that heart rate monitor. That's just my personal belief. But it is a very good tool for you to learn intensity and track a couple other things, which is the next thing, which is sleep trackers. So there's a few watches that do particular like sleep tracking, and then there's other monitors you can wear to track sleep. The Fitbits and Garmin and stuff, they have sleep tracking as part of their thing. Apple Watches, I think, too. But that basically they track your sleep, so it shows you when you're having light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep, and things like that. What things did I say? Light sleep. I was like an awake sleep, I think, on the Fitbit app. Awake sleep, light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. Each have their own very important pieces in there. Especially deep sleep, especially if you're athletes, if you're training a lot, deep sleep's going to be really, really, really important. That's 3 reallys, I did say that, for your recovery, because when you're in your deep sleep, that's your largest output of human growth hormone is during your cycles of deep sleep. So that is a very important one for you to recover, is getting deep sleep. Now, there's a lot of other things that go into that. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. So sleep trackers are really important, can be a really important training tool. Actually, Kate was saying that if she puts on a certain music while she's going to sleep, she has tracked the data, and it's shown that with that music, she gets an hour and a half of deep sleep a night. If she's not using that music, she only gets half an hour of deep sleep a night. And that we've tracked that data over time, and what that shows us is that if we want her to recover better, then she's going to have that music on. And if you're not tracking that stuff, like if you're not using these fitness devices, fitness technology, you're not going to learn what works better than other things. Like, it's just data points to collect. So there's that. Food trackers. So like food trackers, there's MyFitnessPal, which is probably the biggest one. There's a heap of other ones that track your food. Now this one, I believe, is important, like just as important like the sleep one, but maybe even more important. Well, not more. It's just as it's important. Whatever. Either way, it is very important. So having a food tracker shows you that you're eating enough food. If you're weighing, if you're measuring all your food, that's going to show you that, well, one, you're eating enough protein for recovery, you're having enough carbohydrates, you're having enough fat, and then tracking that data is also going to show you if you need to have more carbohydrates, less carbohydrates. You know, if you're eating a certain amount on whatever days and you notice that goes along with the sleep that you're tracking, and you have bad sleep if you're eating extra carbohydrate or more carbohydrates in the afternoon, or you know, you're eating most of your food in the morning and not much at night, and that keeps you awake, or you know, it helps you sleep better if you eat more, whatever. Each data point you have, and if you can correlate that to another data point that is lacking in performance, you can then use that to get better. But I like to use the food tracker, the MyFitnessPal, to track my food, and it's not particularly for physical performance, it's more for mental performance for me. I notice if I'm not eating my food at the right sort of times during my days, then I get tired and sluggish, and I can't think, and I can't make good decisions on what I'm supposed to be doing, and I can't concentrate on tasks and stuff like that. So for me, that's more of mental performance than anything else. So that technology there is very important. So there's that. There's some cool other stuff here. So there's benchmark recording stuff. So Wodify is the program we use in the gym, and that is purely to help people track their data, so that their weights for their exercises, and to help them track their times for their workouts, so that we can use that again as a data point to measure against when we repeat that workout or repeat that lifting, or using percentages for the lifting, and they have a data point to work off of to get close to, like if they're lifting in percentages, getting close to that optimal weight that they want to be using. Or if we're redoing a workout, they can see what maybe scaling options they used, or if they did it exactly how it was written on the board, they can repeat that under, you know, quite similar conditions, and see if their fitness has gotten better. So that one's a really important one. There's Fitbot I use for my personal training clients, and Kate uses that as well. When I'm coaching her and putting all her workouts in, I can use that to track what weight she's been doing, and how she writes in what she thinks she did well and what she didn't do well, and she also puts how she felt during the workouts, and things she struggled with and things she did well, and I can use that to, you know, up her weights in some things or down her weights in others, and, you know, change the exercises, other options, so I can really dial in what's going to work best. Because if I'm not taking those data points and I'm not measuring anything, then I just don't know what to change. You know, I'm not going to go off on a whim and just try something new. Occasionally we do, because we don't have a data point for it, but if it's measurable, then we can change it. There's really cool things like accelerometers. I know we were at the CrossFit Games not long ago. Kate and I, you know, walking past the vendors, and there's things for like barbell accelerometers, and it's like a commercial, just tracks your speed of your barbell. Can be very useful little tool to help you with, you know, how fast you're moving the barbell and bar paths and things like that. For me, it's not going to tip the needle really far, so I'm not too worried about stuff like that. I mean, if you got a good coach's eye, you should be able to see, you know, the speed at which people are doing things. But yeah, that's another one of those tools that you can use to track that. I mean, I think it's not a waste of money, but it's just one of those things that's not going to tip the needle that far. So if you're not focusing on your nutrition and your sleep, especially, and maybe your recovery even, so like your mashing and stuff like that, massage, chiropractic, making sure the body's in good working order, it's pretty useless doing that sort of stuff. So there's those. Cameras, of course, like the camera that I'm recording on here, or your phone, smartphones, they're awesome tools to use to look at your technique. So sometimes having a coach there might not be an option, but even if the coach is there, coach can use cameras and things as a tool to show you your technique so you understand what's happening, or they can use it to break it down and so they can really understand what's happening and what you're doing and where you're doing it. And they're a super valuable tool to be able to use to change technique, even to video your workouts and then make adjustments on your workouts depending on where you rested and things like that, or you know, where you went too fast or whatever. So that's a really good tool for fitness. Other than that, there's a million different tools. So like there's tools that people use, or technology that people use to measure, you know, your V02 Max, like the volume of oxygen you can consume when you're exercising. There's what else have I got here? Like GPS trackers to measure your runs and stuff like that. They're all that stuff is pretty cool. I mean, some of this I believe has more value than anything else. It depends on what your goal is. You know, if your goal is to just get a little bit fitter, none of this stuff really matters too much. What they all have in common, however, is that you still have to do something. You can have all the tools in the world. You can have cameras and you can have accelerometers and you can use the best tracking program and, you know, have MyFitnessPal, and if you're not tracking these things and getting data points and then using those data points to actually make things better, it's not going to work. Nothing's going to work. And I had this conversation with someone not long ago, today actually. You know, we can have all the gadgets and the gizmos, and I'm completely 100% guilty of all this. And you have the gadgets and the gizmos and the toys, I guess you call them. You can have all that stuff, but if you're not doing something, or if you're not doing it, nothing's going to work. And I can't even count how many people I hear of. They're like, yeah, my food's pretty good, you know, and and I'm like, okay, do you measure your food? Like, I eat healthy. I don't eat any bad stuff. Do you measure your food? Oh, no. Ah, okay. So, you know, you just don't know what you don't know. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. It's not a bad thing. But to see what works, you have to be able to know what you're doing and really know what you're doing and have a data point to put against that, you know. You can't do experiments if you're not actually pulling data from something. There needs to be a data point for you to be able to go, okay, this is working, or this is not working, and I think this is why. Let's change this. This is the hypothesis and what I think is going to happen now that I've changed my carbohydrates. And then you change it, and then you retest, and you go, oh, it's actually not working. Maybe it wasn't that. Let's change that back, and let's change my fats, or let's change my proteins. Let's change the frequency in which I'm eating, or how much I'm eating, or maybe my fiber. I change my fiber around. Stuff like that, you know. So data points are super important to be able to track things. But the big thing, the overlying thing, I've said it a heap just before, you still have to do things. And whether that's, you know, if you're looking just to get fit and healthy, you can do whatever you want. Just start moving. Start moving, eat a little less refined carbohydrates, and you're doing well. Just start moving, start doing something. If you're looking to be, a performance athlete and you want to get better in your sport, then ask for help. Ask someone that knows what they're talking about, or that you think knows what they're talking about. Go to them and ask for help. They'll give you things, but when they give you things, you got to do them. Like if you want to get a bigger deadlift, don't say to coach, hey coach, I want to get a bigger deadlift. And they're like, cool, all right, well, 3 times a week, let's do, blah, 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 blah. Let's do this program. And then you don't do the program and you're like, the program was shit. I didn't get anything from it. Of course you didn't, because you didn't do it. So if you know what I mean, like, don't pay for a gym membership if you're not going to use it. Don't sign up for one if you don't have the intent of doing it. And it's not really that complicated. Sure, there's lots of things that come up and you're like, I got a bit sore thumb, or, I was just finished work really late, or I had to do overtime. There's always, if that's the case, there's always going to be something that comes up. If you're always making excuses and you can look at yourself enough and know that you're making excuses for things, you can change it. And that's what we try and do here. Our job, well, not our job, but my purpose, like why I do things, I'm just trying to inspire people to believe in themselves and be able to believe in themselves enough to just do and be better, be a better version of themselves, and always strive to chase the ultimate them. So yeah, basically in a nutshell, it doesn't matter how many cool little fitness devices you have and all these funky things, and the new Nike trainers or whatever, Reebok trainers that you have, and the gym clothes you just bought from Lorna Jane and whatever. If you're not doing it, it's not going to work. And that is all I have to say currently. So I hope you enjoyed episode 27 of the CFWF podcast. Head over to iTunes and subscribe. You can head over to YouTube and check us out on YouTube. The video will be posted on YouTube as well. Thank you for listening again. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Hope you liked that, guys. Thanks for listening.